So as I was saying on a previous take, I've been watching this thing called Blackballed on Roku, and it's about Donald Sterling. All right. Now, this is the thing but that not bothered me, but this thing that I'm seeing. All right. So everybody was like, uh, he said XYZ. All right. But this guy already was on record for doing some shady business. All right. He had property. All right. He had property that he didn't want to rent to brown or black people. Their words, not mine. All right. I would have said minorities, urban culture. I would have said anything other than dividing people into color schemes. All right. I don't divide people into color schemes. I divide people into actions. Like, that's how I divide people and deal with people, by actions. Why? Because actions speak louder than words, and you can never judge a book by its cover. All right. Not to mention, you know, I would have signed on if I was in a room for voting to say, all right, I want to be classified as XYZ, then I would have signed on for being brown. All right. And why? Why would I sign on for being brown? Because that's the one that's close. Since they, want to try to label people as color, that's the closest color to my pigment. All right. I call these pigment problems. All right. Now, with that being said, that would never fly. And the reason why that would never fly is because people their pigment is brown would then be the majority. Think about it. And you got to have a majority, a minority, and so forth. All right. Why? Because there's strength in numbers. All right. Let's not be stupid about it. All right. There's strength in numbers. There's reasons for everything, and one reason for everything is keeping the power of the people unbalanced. So anyway, that being said, so he was already on record, all right, for not wanting to rent to people who he deemed unfit to live on his premises. All right. So he was already on record about this stuff, but yet and still, he still had an NBA team. He still was conducting his business the way he wanted to, and his ethnic players were more than happy to play for him at one point in time. Why? Because it was a different point in time. All right. Things change over years. People get more sensitive as life goes on, and people get more boisterous, and actions, so forth. Which, kudos to everybody that stood up at that point in time, for things that they didn't want to do or things that they didn't want to do. But at the end of the day, what you choose to do in life, regardless of who signs your paycheck, is what you choose to do. Never do what you choose to do for the person who signs your paycheck, unless that person that signs your paycheck is you. All right. There's another thing that I always say to people, like, you got people that will be making silly comments like, where's your boss? Your boss. I'm quick. One time I was at a job, and none of this stuff ruffles my feathers. All right. I could care less. All right. But, there's a person that says, where's your boss at? And I'm like, I don't know, in heaven. If that's what it's more so of a riddle, what I'm saying, to a person that understands what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is this right here. My boss is my creator. All right. Anybody that's put in place in a job, then are they a boss? Yeah, they're a boss. Yeah, absolutely. They're just not my boss. All right. At any given time, I could say, this place isn't for me. At any given time, I could say, no, I don't want to do that. Or I don't want to do this. All right. however it may be. You know, your boss is whoever you allow to be your boss. All right. And some people need to realize that a title doesn't, give you the authority to be that person's quote unquote master. All right. You have to take your personal feelings out of business. The reason why you have to take your personal feelings out of business is because business is just business. It has no feelings. It's a business. It's about making money. Which brings me to another thing. One thing that I didn't know that I learned the other day by watching a documentary with Bad Boy. It's like Anniversary or whatever. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it because I grew up in the 90s. A lot of that music, Bad Boy was like all over the place during the 90s, which was, other record labels and other artists and stuff like that. But Notorious B.I.G., I never knew that B.I.G. stood for business instead of game. Never knew this. It's funny how many, many years have passed and you can still learn something new. Your mind always have to be open to learning something new. All right. Everybody don't know everything. And it's funny because his name was always B.I.G. But I never knew. It was never broadcasted in my region or in my world that it meant for business instead of games. Now, with that being said, all right, business is business. Reality is reality. Sometimes business, a lot of times business is just entertainment. All right. And entertainment is not reality.